In our schools today, there is learning done in both theory and practicals. But when you look at the primary setup, right from kindergarten to junior high, there seems to be a greater ratio based on theory when compared to practicals. In some schools, there are not even resources and opportunities for students to try practical things that are learned in the classroom. Some students don't even get to go through some practical methods until they reach high school, where some of these facilities are available. And sometimes, depending on the high school these children choose and are qualified to go to, these practical resources are limited. If a student is favored by doing well and going to a school which has enough laboratories and the other equipment needed to do the practicals that are learned in the classroom, then the student will be fortunate to have a feel and a better understanding of what they see in the books. But if the student is unfortunate and he finds himself in a school where these equipment, facilities, and resources are not enough, then his education is only limited to what he sees and reads in the book. Some students are able to grasp well the understanding the teacher needs them to get because they are able to experience these things by touching them, feeling them, and seeing with their own eyes how things turn to another. Especially in the area of subjects like science, practicals are very necessary. But what are we doing to make sure that the ratio of theory lessons to practicals are not unequally given? When we look at our syllabus, which of the subjects do qualify to have practical intensive learning included in them? There are some subjects that may not require practicals. Sometimes they don't even need to be taken to these experiences because they are basic and most of these can be seen and handled at home. But there are others which are new to the individual. So for him to understand that one thing is the cause of another thing and this is how it happens, it will be best for him to have a feel of it himself. Are we doing our best to ensure that our schools are very well equipped with the material they need for these practicals? We don't always have to make shacks and give awards to people and students who are known to chew and pour, because most of these types of learning only end in the exam room. But after exam, how many of these students will be able to remember what they chewed and poured when you compare it to one who experienced something or watched the process of something turn into another? As you know, chew and pour is only for the temporal moment of an exam. But when you have a practical, you not only teach yourself how something is happening, you indirectly put a memory of that thing behind your brain, and later you can replay it when you need it. That is even the reason why the old adage says practice makes perfect. They didn't say theory makes perfect, but practice. Practice. Practicals are the only ways some of these students will be perfected in that which they learn. But we don't have to be too discouraged when we see the theory is way above the practicals in our school. At least we have come a long way when you compare it to times where even books were not available for some of the students in the past. We should also comment that the theory has done a lot of help. We should also try our best to sift out the wrong theory from the right ones. We say this because there are some theoretical books that poison the individuals because those books don't have the right information. In Ghana, the Ghana Education Service, as well as other institutions, play a major role in ensuring that the right books are given to the individuals and are part of those which are recommended in their studies and in the classroom. But apart from these books, the individuals and parents are always given a choice to purchase books from other places and from other writers which they perceive to be good and knowledgeable. The only problem is, if these are not accredited and if these books are not written with very much responsibility and care, they may give the pupil and the student who reads them a different view of what they are supposed to be learning. It is true that there are many writers, there are many authors, and there are many bookmakers. But how many of them are able to bring understanding that will be broken down in a very basic form for the individual to understand? A good book and a good theoretical book is not only one that has big English and big words that make it look very elaborate and very sophisticated, but a good theoretical book is one that uses basic words and understandable words and uses even common examples to bring a good understanding to the readers and to the students who are learning them. We say this because some people are fooled into thinking a good book is the one that has all of these extraordinary words and symbols. But we should note that our pupils and our students have been given a particular standard of learning because of the stage in which they are in. You cannot expect a primary student to read a book that is meant for the tertiary. Though he can learn it and read it, to get him to have some basic understanding, the grassroots which he will later build upon, he has to get a very good book that is simplified. Most of these simplified books do the hardest jobs in the easiest way. They bring intelligence to the minds of the pupils by getting them to see and relate with the things they read. Relating with these things makes it easier for them to grasp the main thing behind what they are reading and to apply it not only in their lives but also in the classrooms and also during class tests and examinations. For example, mathematics is a subject which some students shy away from. And when you go to the high schools, where mathematics is most times divided into core mathematics, the basic ones which all the students and pupils do and learn, there's another one which is known as the elective mathematics, which goes into more deeper, higher learning of mathematics. Now, on the subject of mathematics, for example, when you use books and theoretical books that have not been simplified to the right standard for the individual, he will not find pleasure in it, and he would already immediately call it a difficult subject. This will not be because he's not good at learning mathematics, neither will it be because maths is not a subject for him, but because the symbols used and the ways the learning method was placed in the book was too complex for the individual to get. We have to find ways to get our individuals to see the light behind the things that some people claim are difficult. But we have to start by first making them see that they are not as difficult as they claim to be. This will not make them to be afraid and shy away from such subjects. Even in elective mathematics, for example, which people claim are much sophisticated than the core maths, those who actually read them and learn them come to a point where they realize that there's nothing really extraordinary about elective mathematics. The thing is that there are just more and more learning things that are brought into these mathematics that may be called elective. However, because they are more than what is in the core maths, that is why they are being termed as elective, not necessarily because they are difficult. We say this because the same methods and processes used in core mathematics to solve equations and the like are the same ones that are being used to solve elective mathematics. For example, elective mathematics may give you a question and you would be able to solve it the same way a core maths question will be able to be solved. But the elective mathematics may give you another way to not only find the answer but to arrive at the question which was given, in case they give you only the answer without the full question. Sort of like a reverse method to find the question that a solution is being given to. Now, this may seem complex in the beginning, but when it is broken down the right way, you will notice that it is just the same way you solved the question to get the answer that you are using to solve the answered question that you want to arrive at. So, instead of this time you finding the answer to the question, you will just be finding the question to the answer that was given. We should also look at the way we bring theory into our schools and into the classrooms. Whilst practicals are a way to include more learning and more understanding to the pupil, we should also pay much focus on how basic the theory questions and the theory subjects are to the individual. Then also we have to look at the teachers who bring the teaching material and who help these students to learn the subjects they teach. Are our teachers helping the students, or are our teachers just doing whatever they feel they can do because they need to make an income? We have to get to the point where we choose teachers not based on how they dress or how well they look, but on how good they are in bringing knowledge to the students. We say this because there are some teachers who may look good, dress good, and be very gentle to the eye, but when it comes to their teaching, it is very poor. But then there are those teachers who don't really care about how they look and dress, but are very good in the classroom and bring some delightful learning to the individuals, the students, and our pupils. So as we go about looking at the practicals which should be included more in our students' syllabus, let's also do well to modify the theory and to make it a good balance for learning by the pupil. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.